Hey, darlings. It's 6 p.m. on Friday night, and that means that if you're cool like me or uncool like me, depending on how you want to do that, you're hanging out in the Dolce Darlin kitchen with me. I'm Miss Darlin, and we're gonna cook supper together. Okay. Here's kind of how we're gonna do this every week. Hi, Heather. Every week at on Friday night at 6 p.m. We're going to cook together. I'm going to kind of walk you through the process of what we're making. We're going to start pretty promptly, and I'll try to kind of update y'all as we move forward in case anybody gets on in a minute or two late. But the goal of this is to always get a meal in 30 minutes or so, because I don't know what y'all have going on in your life, but my life's a little wild and crazy in like a work way. Being really honest. And I need to get supper cooked and go in and eat and, PJ down is what we call it here. So thank you so much for joining us here at Dolce Darlin at the Pink House, and let's get going. I printed out exactly what I posted for y'all because I'm notorious for forgetting bits and pieces. Little disclaimer, let me throw it out right now because I promise you this always comes up in videos for stuff that we're making for the family. You will probably see in this video me go like this or go like this and brush my hair back, and you'll notice it's down today. You'll notice that I'll cut a couple things with the same knife, that kind of stuff. This is just me cooking in my kitchen at home for my family. The only folks that are going to eat it are the people that I made. So there's my little disclaimer about touching stuff and moving stuff and potential for cross-contamination. I'm never going to teach y'all anything that makes y'all sick, but also, give me a little grace on that. All right, so here goes. If you have your little grocery list, you can get it out or print it out or pull it up. Otherwise, I'm going to tell y'all everything that you need to know. So first things first, if you have kiddos helping this evening, I just want to remind y'all that the very first step every single time is to scrub your paws. So if you have not washed your hands, go ahead and go do that now, kiddos, because it's the first step in cooking and baking, no matter whether you're doing it for yourself or for sale. For everybody else, if you're already scrubbed your paws and you're ready to roll, I want you to go and preheat your oven. This is whether you're going to bake bacon with me or just do French toast. Either way, I just want you to stick your oven on 350 right now, and we're going to get that preheating, okay? I'm going to turn mine on as well. I got a one button guy over here, so he's ready to roll. So the next thing we're going to do, y'all, this is going to go together so fast. You're going to be so happy. I mentioned that you're going to need a cookie sheet. And this is why. Now, obviously, we own a bakery. We got these ginormatron trays. So you don't have to have that. I'm going to take the grate off. But if you want to cook your bacon out of the grease, you can put it onto a grate like this. A cooling rack, most people would call them. We're not even going to use that. I did forget my eggs, though, so I'm glad I walked over there for that. So you're going to take your bacon to bake your bacon. If you have never baked bacon before, put an emoji of a pig in the message right now. And if you have, put an emoji of bacon. Because I'm curious who's never baked bacon. This is going to change your life. Y'all are going to be really happy if you've never done this before, because it's going to make your life so much simpler. It's going to keep your kitchen cleaner. It's going to go by really fast. We're just going to take our pound of bacon. I choose thick cut. That's all they had at the grocery store. So this is not a strategic choice here. This is literally all that I could find. So we're going to take the bacon. We're going to get grubby here. You can use tongs. You could do a fork if this is not your jam, but we're talking quick and easy. So I'm going to grab it with my hands. So all you're going to do is cut that guy open. You're going to pull your bacon out. See, y'all are going to be so happy. For those of you that are bacon eaters, when you cook for a big crowd, and we're just going to lay it flat on here, you can line this with aluminum foil if you want to clean up a little bit less. You can put it on the grid, try again. We call them cooling racks, grid racks. whatever I called them before, I've already forgotten. But you can put that stuff down if you want, or you can just lay it right in the belly of a cookie sheet. If you have a small cookie sheet, you can overlap them a little bit if you need to, for sure. I'm going to spread mine all out, but you can overlap them. Let's see if y'all can see in the video. I'm going to show you right here. You can overlap them almost halfway like this right here. Okay, and they're still going to cook. They're going to shrink as they cook, but not as much as they will if you pan fry them. And I know some of y'all are over there thinking, oh, Miss Darlin, that is blasphemy. You're going to bake the bacon. I'm fixing to change your life. You're going to be so happy. So bacon's down. Soon as the oven's preheated, let's check my thing there. We're going to stick it in there. It's only going to cook for about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the strength of your oven and the cut of your bacon. Let's wash hands real fast. I'm going to do that over here. Y'all do that over there. I'll see you back here in just 1 second. Well, actually 30 seconds, because that's the appropriate time to wash your hands, in case you didn't already know with the craziness going on in the world today. All right. And then I'm just going to move my bacon aside so that we can move on to other things. All right, so I'm going to tell y'all, I pray this will not confuse anybody. I'm going to move this guy out of the way as well. I'm going to go ahead and double my recipe as I go. So the numbers that I'm going to give to you are not necessarily what you're going to see me putting in the pan. If you are doubling with me right now, you're looking to have a casserole dish that looks, I got some out here, like this guy right here, maybe like a 9 by 13 guy. If you're not doubling it, you maybe have something that looks like this right here, or some variation of it, okay? You don't have to use Pyrex, but let me tell you, I've had these guys for a decade. They will do you right. So I'm going to end up in this pan right here myself. Let's go clamber around over here. So we're going to make our sauce for the French toast that the toast is going to sit in. We'll cut the bread in a minute while this is cooking, and then we'll do the egg mixture, pour it over the top, y'all. It's going to boom, boom, boom. It's fixing to happen. So butter, you can't use stuff that ain't butter if I ask you to use butter, okay? Real butter all the time in a stick. The stuff that y'all pull out of the tub, that's margarine. It's oil-based. It's not like this. So please use real butter. It'll make me so happy. If all you have is margarine, you use it. Have French toast tonight. So what I've asked y'all to have is a 1/4 cup of butter. I am doubling, so I'm going to go ahead and do a 1/2 cup, which is a whole stick. Okay. Now you can get a saucepan to cook this in. You cook it in a skillet, whatever floats your fancy. There we go. So I tend to just cook in a skillet. Can y'all see this? Let me see. I'm going to tilt you just a little bit so I can make sure you see a little bit better, because it's not about me, it's about the food. So we're going to melt that down kind of slowly. We're not in a big hurry for it because we got another task in the meantime. Absolutely correct, Megan. And also, I can see most of your comments. So if you have a question, pop it in there. Let me see it. I'm here for you. That's all I'm doing, is just being here for y'all. So the next thing we're going to need is our brown sugar. Don't mind my elbow moving around here. And y'all don't tease me about the size of my ingredients, okay? I do everything in bulk, so I got big old packages of whatever. You can use dark brown sugar, light brown sugar, whatever it is. And if you don't know what brown sugar is, typically it's your granulated sugar soaked in molasses. So it gives that rich flavor. Oh, fantastic. Ainsley's helping Mama. I love that. Y'all have no idea. We're going to do a cup of brown sugar. If you're doing a single batch, I'm going to do a double, so I'm going to do 2 cups. Now, because I promised y'all I would kind of teach you how to do stuff along the way, I'm going to tell you that about 98% of the time, when a recipe calls for brown sugar, what it really means is packed brown sugar. Almost never does a recipe want you to do loose brown sugar. Okay? So this is doing its thing down here. I just take the back of a measuring cup typically, If you're working at home with just your own stuff, you can use the back of your palm, but you do want to pack that down to get the proper measurement. And we're just going to dump that guy right in there. I don't know why I turned 100% Tennessee when I said that just then. Sorry. Trying to hide my accent a little bit for y'all so it's easier for y'all to understand me. And we're going to do that right there and get that guy going. We really just want this at a simmer. You can tell it's bubbling a little high over here. So I'm going to turn it down. We're not trying to do anything exciting here. And we're just going to stir it around just a little bit. We want this to become fluid, okay? And the butter will do that. Is everybody doing okay so far? So far, to catch y'all up, we've got our bacon out ready for the oven to be put onto its heat for it to come up to temp. There we go. And then we've got our butter and brown sugar in here. My oven is not at temp yet. If yours is, you can put your bacon in the oven. You want to put it on at about 10 minutes and start watching it then. If you have super thinly sliced bacon, maybe start it at 6 minutes, and then that's a good jumping off point. Because you just want to make sure you're not frying it into oblivion, unless that's your jam. If you're really into that, okay, cool. Fry that baby into oblivion. All right, so this is still a little bit thick over here. I want it to be this kind of creamy texture is what we're looking for, not this chunkiness right here. It's important to me that y'all kind of see the process, because that's the only reason we're doing this, is so y'all get a first look, a hands-on, go along with me kind of thing. So we're just going to let this keep going just a second longer. Because this came up so quickly, not even going to worry about touching the bread just yet. It's going to be so fast, y'all. Okay. See how it's fluid now? Everything's kind of moving together. Now it's not going to come up into pure liquid because brown sugar's got a lot of density to it. So, all right. All fluid, all cohesive, no lumps, no chunks, no, oh, that's a terrible, oh, I think that's on my do not say word. I don't really like that word, chunk. Do you have a word you don't like to say? As long as it's appropriate, you can put it in the comments. Now I'm curious. So, if you are at a liquidy state, it's all cohesive, all totally combined, you can turn your eye off and move this guy over here to the side. We want it to cool a tiny bit, but not a ton. All right, I'm going to flip my cutting board over because if you noticed, I tossed my bacon wrapper on it. So we're going to flip my cutting board over, and then we're going to cut the, me and you, me and y'all, I guess. Everybody doing okay? Give me a thumbs up if y'all are doing okay and you don't need me to slow down and everybody's on track and we don't have any questions. If you do have questions, throw them in the comments. I'm trying to keep an eye on them. So, oh, I don't care for that word either, to be really honest with you. But I think I relate it 100% to food, so I don't mind it too much. Okay, perfect. I'm loving all those all the thumbs ups. I like hearts too. You could send those. So the reason we talked about doing a thick bread is because when we cut the bread, I'm going to cut it right in the dish for the moment. How many pieces do I have? We're 5, I don't know, 5-ish. And we're going to cut them at a diagonal, okay? Let me show you first if you haven't. If you haven't cut yet, we're going to just cut them like this right here. Just at a diagonal across. And I'm just going to cut it all the way down. Does not have to be perfect. Does not have to be fancy. It's going to be easy and quick and right to the point, okay? The reason you want a thicker bread if you're able to get your hands on it is so that you can stand it up. Do y'all see how it's standing up in my pan right now? And it's not laying back. Now, if you couldn't find thick bread, I think my fingies are going to die, just so y'all know. I'm sorry. If they die, I'll take them out and I'll holler a little bit. If you were not able to find thick bread, it's no big deal. Nothing that I give to y'all is ever going to be like, oh gosh, I can't make it at all without this. If you can't, what I want you to do is just kind of prop your bread up against itself, laying it on its side. Are y'all tracking that? So if you did not get thick bread and it won't stand up on its own, just do like this right here. Okay. Otherwise, we're going to cut the bread in half. You're going to stand it up on its side, and we're going to do every other. I'm actually going to point the rounded ends out. That may not make sense to anybody but me, but I'll show y'all what I mean. Just for symmetry, because my life is all about symmetry. Thank you for the hearts. I'm going to do the bigger end on the sides, like this right here, okay? Now, somebody had messaged me and said, oh, is that amount of bread a specific number? It's honestly a guesstimate-ish. So this has some gaps in it with 6 pieces. So remember, I'm doubling. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 more pieces, and I'm just going to cozy these guys in just a bit more. Everything I give to y'all to make, everything I show y'all how, it's all going to be very forgiving, okay? None of this is going to be rocket science. None of this is meant to be, super challenging. It's meant to give y'all something to do together as a family, or a new recipe, or a new skill to learn if there's anything I have to provide to y'all on that particular thing that you don't know. So this is not meant to be taken too seriously. I'm just going to cozy all this bread back just a bit more. All right, so it's going to mostly stand up. Some's going to fall down, and we are not going to cry about it probably. So here we go. We got the bread standing up. We got this guy over here, and it is cooling off. Now, if yours is super fluidy, because I use a dark brown sugar, you can pour it on. I personally am just going to spoon a little bit right into here onto the top so it falls down between each thing of bread. It's going to bake down in, and it's going to liquefy in the bottom. So I'm just kind of sticking a little bit in between each one. You can just pour it over the top if you're into that. See, I'll show you. It's not real serious. It's not going to hurt a thing. I just pour it straight into the center because it will ooze itself on down into the crevices as it sits, okay? Can y'all see that happening in the back right there? It's just sliding on down in between the pieces, and it'll spread out by itself. Now, if yours was real thick, because I try to troubleshoot everything for you, I'm going to show you a really super fancy, are you ready, technical way of getting it to come down a little bit. You're going to pick it up like this right here, and you're just going to shake it a little bit. Just give it a little shake, and it'll slide back and forth. Y'all see it happening right there, and it'll spread out. So, take that special skill home with you. So I'm going to put this guy over here. I operate a gas stove, so I can use it for the wood, but I don't want to put the glass on there. Move these guys over to the side because we're not using them. And then we're going to do the egg mixture. Part of the reason, because I want you to have this whole explanation. Oh, we're doing great on time. Part of the reason that we do this part of the glazing stuff first is because we actually want that to cool down just a little bit. Yes, give me a shake. Exactly. Kelly, my bread, which I'll be honest with you, I've never used this before. So if y'all don't like it, don't be mad at me. This I ended up finding out the Kroger, and it's a thick sliced white Nature's Own bread. It looks good. It smells good. I think it's going to do the trick. But honestly, you can use a 99-cent loaf of, cheap bread too, and that's not going to hurt a thing. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to make our egg mixture. This is our French toast bowl. This is the bowl we have made French toast in this family in for probably literally about 15 years. It's a Gibson bowl. That's all I know. I don't know where I got it, how long I've truly had it. Brioche bread I think is going to be amazing too. But what we're going to do is we're going to throw all of our eggs in here, our milk, our seasonings, so to speak, and we're just going to whisk the holy guacamole out of it. So I'm going to grab my eggs. What did I do with them? Y'all saw me with them a minute ago. If you are doing a single batch, you're going to use 4 eggs. I'm going to end up going on and using 6, okay? Now, can I debunk something for you? Most people think you're supposed to tap on the side of the bowl. However, it's actually more effective to tap sideways like this onto a flat surface because you get fewer eggshells in there, and it makes a really clean break. I'm going to break them slow, although I was tempted to be real fancy and break one with each hand and go, but I'm not going to do that because I want to be able to do this right alongside with y'all. Maybe I'll show y'all something fancy some other time. That guy didn't break. Also, if you get an egg with 2 yolks, it's supposed to be good luck. I hadn't had a ton of good luck, so I'm not certain, but that's what I've heard. Well, actually, I haven't had a ton of eggs with 2 yolks either, so maybe there's a correlation there that I didn't know about. All right. You are going to want to wash your hands if you got egg yolk all over you. So you can take a quick break to do that if you need to. You don't need to break the eggs or do anything now unless if you have a little person helping you right now, you might want to take the back of your fork and just pop those yolks so that they break a little bit. It'll make it a little bit easier for them to whisk in a bit. But if not, and you're doing your own thing, you're good to go. My oven is finally at temp. And I say finally, it probably has been for a couple minutes, and I was just talking to y'all instead. So if you also forgot about your bacon, feel free to go ahead and put it in now. My oven timer, actually, here, it'll give y'all a heart attack. We're going to set a 10-minute timer. My oven is insane, and it will, yeah. So, all right, next thing we need milk. If you're doing it by yourself, one batch, you're just going to need 3/4 of a cup. I'm going to go ahead and double it like I mentioned. Now I'm going to do a bad thing. I'm going to use a dry measuring cup for a liquid measurement. If you are baking, I will always tell you the exact difference between that, and this is going to be a, do as I say, not as I do kind of situation. So normally wet measuring cups are glass, and they tend to have a little spigot on them, a little pouring area. We're going to work with what was within arm's reach right now. This is very forgiving, like everything else we've talked about, okay? So milk is there. If you're using the other optional things, you're looking at cinnamon, vanilla, and a little flick of salt, okay? Now, why salt? Because I find that a balance of salt ain't never hurt nobody. It has done nothing but made me happy. So I give a little balance of salt to level out the flavors. This is my personal homemade vanilla. We do sell it in the shop if you're ever into that. It'll last you forever. And I'm just going to I'm going to teach y'all a very scientific way of measuring 1 teaspoon, okay? I call it the Mississippi. So we're going to do 1 Mississippi of vanilla, or 1 teaspoon. And you can't pronounce all the syllables to Mississippi or it ain't the right measurement. So you're looking at 1 Mississippi, okay? Oh, did they? All right, can y'all hear me at all? Okay, we're gonna just, if they disconnect and y'all can't hear me, you holler, okay? If you love cinnamon, you do your thing here. You put in whatever you like. I'm just gonna put in about a teaspoon of that as well. I'm gonna show you in the top of the bowl, just a little splash. So that kind of looks like it's trying to be a porridge here. And then, because I did not wash my hands after I did the eggs, I'm going to use the back of a fork. See, we're just going to make it work, y'all. And we're just going to do just a smidge of salt, okay? Now, we are going to whisk the holy guacamole out of this. One thing that you should know is when you are baking, you don't want to overbeat your eggs. What you're doing is you're breaking down the proteins, you're messing up the enzymes. There's true science to it. Because we're doing this and we don't need them to stabilize our recipe in any way, we're just adding it for fluff and pomp and circumstance and, all the good stuff in there. You can beat the holy guac out of them. If you've never beaten eggs, I just realized I promised I was going to teach y'all stuff. What you're looking for in your motion is this. You're looking to lift and cup. So you're kind of going back and forth and up and down with your fork at the same time in a circular motion. So we're going to take this guy right here, this mixture. We're going to take our casserole dish right here. We're just going to leave it here for a second. And we're just going to pour it right over the top, okay? I'm going to go right down the middle like I did before. Now, let me tell you the beautiful thing about this particular dish. If you got friends coming over, or you got an event tomorrow, or it's a holiday, you don't want to get up early, but everybody's got to eat, you can leave it like this. You can put it in the fridge. You can leave it overnight. Shoot, you could throw this together in the morning, stick it in the fridge. When you come home from work in the evening, throw it in the refrigerator. Don't put it in the refrigerator. Throw it in the oven at that point. So this can sit overnight or for many hours. Okay. Or if you got time at 4 o'clock to throw it together, but then y'all got to leave for ball practice or a game or something like that, stick it in the fridge. It'll soak up and be happy. Or you could do what I'm fixing to do, which is slice some strawberries over the top and throw it in the oven right now. Either way, if you're going to put berries on it, first of all, the very last thing that you want to do before using your berries is wash them. When you wash your berries, you start their life and they will ripen so much faster and you'll lose them really fast. So if you are getting your berries ready, don't. Just do it at the very last minute and they'll be good to go. So I washed mine right before we got on the live, so they'd be ready to go. And here's what we're going to do here. I needed something to set them on. Something. I need to be better prepared for y'all. I normally just throw wax paper everywhere, but we're just going to cut the watch-it finger off the end. There are lots of tricks to getting the stems off of those, but meh. And I'm just going to, I don't know, quarter them maybe. I want big pieces. And you're just going to drop them in there wherever you want. If you have blueberries and you're into that sort of thing, or a bag of frozen mixed berries, throw them in there. I'm just going to put a few in here. I like them when they bake in here. They give them that almost like a cobbler kind of vibe with the eggs and the bread and then the veggie, or the, not veggies, that would be weird. The fruit being in here, it'll get soft, it'll get warm, and it's great. So guess what? Bacon's fixing to be done. The French toast is fixing to go in. You do want to let your bacon set for just a bit. Throw a piece of foil over it for just 5 minutes or so. Let it cool down a little bit. Let it pull it out of its greases if you want to, or you can let it sit in there like that. Not serious with bacon. I got one more. Let's just throw this guy in here. And then I'm going to let y'all go in just a second. Let me check my bacon and see if it's going to be ready while we're sitting here on the live together. Let's see. It's pretty close. Can I bring y'all over? Let's see how this is going to work. This is a little bit unscripted. We're going to go on an adventure. Okay. So I'm going to bring y'all over here and let's see if y'all can't see into this oven. Do y'all see it's frying itself in its own grease? So what you're eliminating by doing that is, first of all, having hot grease up over the stove, especially if you got family in town and people are in and out the door. But you can make a massive amount of bacon all at one time. So, I mean, for me, that's a lifesaver all by itself. And then knowing I can stick it in there and it's safe in there and I can move about and do other stuff. Oh, y'all, it is 6:28. We are right on time. So this is going to go in the oven at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. When we pull it out, all I'm going to do is sprinkle some confectioner sugar on there and scoop it out with a spatula. So then we'll serve bacon on the side and that'll be that. Does anybody have any questions for me? I hope it's great. I hope y'all cook it and love it. If it's too late tonight or y'all had other plans for supper, stick it in the fridge, have it tomorrow morning for a lazy Saturday breakfast. And also, I would like for you to come see me in the shop tomorrow if you're doing that. Otherwise, I would be so grateful if you would share this video, give other people the opportunity to know that we're cooking every Friday night at 6 p.m. Please, please, please. Tomorrow I'll post a little blurb and I'll ask y'all if you made it. I would love to see the photos of how it turned out and I want to know how everybody liked it. So give me some feedback. And also if y'all have any special requests, I'm going to teach y'all how to make pasta. It sounds intimidating. We're going to do it by hand. We're not going to do it with a machine. I'm going to teach y'all to make homemade pizzas so y'all can make a quick, easy dough. Everybody can do their own toppings and it is going to be so fantastic. I have a whole list of stuff I want to teach y'all how to make. But if you have suggestions, please give them to me. I will take every single one of them into consideration. I will find a way to teach it to you if it's something you really want to know. I hope y'all have an amazing evening. Thank you very, very much for joining me tonight. I will see y'all back here, if I don't see you before, next Friday night at 6 p.m. to have dinner with Miss Darlin. So thank you very much. Have an amazing rest of your weekend. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.